I often tell people to dress for the job you want, not for the job you have. Because people will judge you based on your appearance. And that dress for the job you want, not for the job you have, is also relevant to your attitude. My name is Anthony Lindsay. I've been in finance for over 30 years, so I know a thing or two. Now, I'm a mortgage broker and I work with a range of people. And one of the things that I ask myself quite often is, what's the best way to present myself in these videos, at meetings, at talks, and what are people going to think based on how I dress and how I speak? As a mortgage broker, it's important that we convey confidence, that we come across as someone that can be trusted and someone who is professional and knows what they're doing. So you will find that some brokerages, they spend a lot of time investing in their branding, and that's great. You'll find that some independent brokers spend a lot of time online, and that's great. So I don't think that there's one look or one way that a broker should act or dress in order to be able to convey professionalism. It's really, as they say in England, horses for courses. I spent a lot of my career working with high net worth individuals, which means that these are people that need to see that you are successful in order for them to do business with you 9 times out of 10. So in that environment, I would always make sure that I had a nice suit on, nice watch, nice tie. Just went in there looking like I'm used to working with people with a high net worth. Now, I've noticed online, there's a lot of people that come on TikTok, they're on social media, and they are just casual. And I think that that's really important, and I love that, because you have a lot of people that don't want to see someone in a shirt and tie. They're looking for someone that looks like them, but knows what they're talking about. So I don't think that there is one thing that should be done. But I think what's important is that your broker is someone that you can trust, someone who knows what they're doing, and in the bits that they don't know, that they're honest and able to have access to that information. I've been working in finance for over 30 years, as I said, and I have a breadth of knowledge and experience, and it's practical knowledge and experience that sometimes you can only get from doing and working in a field for an extended period of time. If you're looking to purchase a home, you definitely want to find someone who's going to be able to hold your hand through the process if that's what you want. I work a lot with first-time buyers, and one of the reasons why I'm so passionate about working with first-time buyers, and I introduce them to this concept when I first have an appointment with them, is I worked in collections. So I've seen what it looks like when things go wrong. So I always encourage my clients to make sure that they're taking into consideration how serious it is to purchase a home. If you're used to living at home with your parents, or if you've never had the responsibility of a mortgage, you can overextend yourself when you're going for a mortgage. I've had instances where on paper the deal looked great, but I was aware that in the background, maybe the person had some aspirations to do things. And I had to highlight to them that this mortgage could impact those aspirations. And it's easy in the excitement of the moment to say, oh, that's fine. I don't really want to go on that ski trip, or I don't really want to do that particular thing. But when life happens, once you've got the keys to your new home and you've settled in, and then you're looking at those magazines with that vacation that you wanted to take, and now you cannot take it because of the expenses of running a household, that's when the reality sets in. And it takes a level of maturity and transparency to have that conversation. Now, I'm not here to talk people out of buying their home, but I am here to allow them to tap into my experience. So if you're a first-time buyer and you're looking to buy a house, you have to consider a few things. It's not just about the mortgage. It's also about making sure that you have the right protection in place. So that's going to be another expense that you have once you move into your new home. And unlike renting, with your own home, anything that breaks within that house, pretty much you're going to be responsible for. If something happens with the roof, you're going to be responsible for that as well. So it's important you take those things into consideration. So don't just look at the way that your mortgage broker is dressed or the firm that they work for or the office. Look at their skill set. Look at their ability to help you know what you don't know, because it is their job to educate you, to guide you, and to give you advice about purchasing your home. Now, it may be that you've already purchased a home and you had an amazing mortgage broker, so they took a lot of the load off you and you didn't really have to understand all the details of everything because they took care of it for you. But even in that instance, when you're going for a remortgage, I like talking to people as if it's the first time that they've purchased a home. Not in a way that I speak down to them, but I revisit things that maybe were lost the first time that they were making the purchase, or maybe there were things that the other broker didn't have the confidence to discuss. In the brokerage world, one of the things that we found is that a lot of people, when they're doing remortgages for clients, they don't talk about protection, which is silly, because when you're remortgaging, it might be 2, 3, 5 or more years since the original mortgage, and a lot could have changed. Maybe they've had kids. Maybe one of their children have gone off to university. Maybe now they are planning on having children. There's a lot that can change. So it's so important that in that situation, you don't just go and do the easy part, which is doing the remortgage, because a remortgage is a lot easier than doing a first-time mortgage. But as a mortgage broker, you want to have someone who's going to have that discussion with you, that's going to review the information, and that maybe will challenge you a little bit because, you know, as a person coming in for a mortgage or a remortgage, you didn't come in to have a discussion about protection. You didn't come into to have a discussion about having a will, but it is your mortgage broker's job and it's their responsibility to make sure that your family is protected. So I'm going to unashamedly say that if you came to me as a mortgage broker, I'm going to have that conversation with you about protection. For a period in my life, I was a branch manager for a large branch network, and I've had both sides of the coin as far as experiences. I've had situations where we've been able to protect someone and then a spouse has died and they've come back in the branch and they've thanked me, or they've thanked the mortgage advisor and said, you know what, I'd rather have my wife or my husband here, but knowing that the house has been paid off for, or knowing that, you know, the children are in a good position, I'm just so thankful for that. I've also had the situation where people have come back and just assumed that there was some protection in place, but we had to say, well, no, there isn't, because you said you didn't want it. You said you couldn't afford it. So these are things that you need to consider. So look beyond the logo, look beyond all the bells and whistles that a mortgage broker may present. Find out if they really care about you, your family, and getting you the very best deal possible based on your circumstances. It's great to say yes, but sometimes we have to say no. Sometimes we have to use our knowledge and experience to say, well, on paper this might be a good fit, but for you, based on what you've told me, Mr. Customer, this isn't a good fit. So I personally, I do tend to wear a shirt and tie when it comes to my mortgage business, but if you watched any of my other business videos or social media, you will see that when we're talking about startups and side hustlers, I'm a lot more casual, because as far as my business consultancy and what we do, we have a different vibe and we work with a different set of people. But my name is Anthony Lindsay, and if you're looking for a mortgage broker, I'd love to have a conversation with you. My number's in the link, and you can always reach out. We do have an office in East London, or we can arrange a Zoom call. Thanks for listening.